Hello, I'm Scott Peterson, Senior Planner, Community Development Department with the City of Grand Junction. This is a request for a comprehensive plan amendment and a rezone for the property located at 785-24 Road, which would be from residential high mixed use at 16 to 24 dwelling units to the acre to residential medium at 4 to 8 dwelling units to the acre and village center, and also a rezone from the current zoning of residential estate to the R8 and the C1 light commercial zone districts. The applicant for this request is the property owner, Mallard View, LLC. This is the site location map. The property is located at 785-24 Road and is situated west of 24 Road, north of I-70 and south of H Road. Fellowship Church is located further to the south. The property currently contains a single-family detached home along with various accessory structures and is 17.84 acres in size. The applicant is interested in preparing the property for future development that would be consistent with the scope and type of development envisioned by the comprehensive plan, with a residential medium density of 4 to 8 dwelling units to the acre and as a village center as currently identified on portions of the property. This slide shows a closer aerial photo of the site. The applicant previously requested a comprehensive plan amendment from residential high mixed use and residential medium to village center and a rezone from RE residential estate to C1 for the entire 17.84 acres. However, that request was denied by the Planning Commission at their May 12, 2020 meeting. The applicant choose to withdraw their request prior to be heard by City Council. This slide shows the applicant's current proposal to request rezoning 3.16 acres as C1 for the area adjacent to 24 Road, with the remaining 14.9 acres requested to be rezoned as R8, which is more in keeping with the residential densities as envisioned with the existing comprehensive plan future land use map designations of residential high mixed use, residential medium, and village center. The applicant is interested in preparing the property for future development that would be consistent with the scope and type of development envisioned by the comprehensive plan, with a residential medium at 4 to 8 dwelling units to the acre density and village center as currently identified on portions of the property. The applicant seeks the C1 zone district for only 3.16 acres of the site. The frontage along 24 Road. Allowable land uses within the C1 zone district could include medical clinics, hotels, office buildings, and a variety of retail sales and services. Multifamily residential development is also allowed within the proposed C1 zone district with a density range of 12 to 24 dwelling units an acre. The applicant also seeks the R8 zone district for the remainder of the property, 14.9 acres, in anticipation of a future residential subdivision development with a density range between 5.5 to 8 dwelling units an acre. The 2010 Comprehensive Plan includes a future land use map which identifies this property as having 3 designations, including residential high mixed use at 16 to 24 dwelling units to the acre, which would approximate would be 12 acres on this property. Residential medium at 4 to 8 dwelling units to the acre, which comprises about 3.5 acres. And village center, which would be approximate 2 acres and is currently zoned residential estate. The applicant is requesting to change the future land use map to only have 2 designations on the property, the residential medium category for the 14.9 acres and the village center for the remaining 3.16 acres. A small portion of the applicant's property is designated as village center on our comprehensive plan future land use map in the northeast corner of the property closest to the intersection of 24 Road and H Road. The applicant proposes to modify the comprehensive plan by designating the village center along the property's 24 Road frontage in width of 228 feet for a total of approximately of 3.16 acres. This area would correspond to the request to zone the village center and designate the property to C1. Currently, all property flanking H Road between 24 Road and 23 and 7/10 Road is designated village center, as well as all property on the east side of 24 Road between I-70 and H Road. The property directly across the road on the east side of 24 Road is presently zoned C1 and contains a distillery and lavender farm. This slide indicates current zoning for the area. Properties adjacent to the subject property to the east across 24 Road are zoned C1 and county RSFR, which is residential single-family rural. Also to the east, west, and south is county RSFR. Directly to the north is county residential planned unit development, or PUD, with the city B1 neighborhood business zone district to the northeast, located at the intersection of 24 Road and H Road, which contains the Beehive Homes assisted living facility. Further to the south is Fellowship Church, that is zoned RR, or residential rural. The purpose of the R8 zone district is to provide for medium-high density attached and detached dwellings, two-family dwellings, and multifamily. R8 is considered a transitional district between lower density single-family districts and higher density multifamily or business development. A mix of dwelling types is allowed in this district. The purpose of the C1 zone district is to provide indoor retail, service, and office uses requiring direct or indirect arterial street access and business and commercial development along arterials. The C1 district should accommodate well-designed development on sites that provide excellent transportation access, make the most efficient use of existing infrastructure, and provide for orderly transitions and buffers between uses. 24 Road is classified as a minor arterial north of I-70. This is a view of the property taken from Google Street View looking northwest from 24 Road. This photo is dated July of 2019 and shows the existing single-family house within the tree line and accessory building located to the south. Pursuant to sections 2102.130 and 2102.140 of our Zoning and Development Code, requests for a comprehensive plan, future land use map, amendment, and rezone shall demonstrate conformance with the following review criteria as identified on this slide. Criteria 1. Subsequent events have invalidated the original premise and findings. The 2010 Comprehensive Plan includes a future land use map which identifies this property as having three designations: Village Center, Residential High Mixed Use, and Residential Medium. With this request, the applicant is requesting to remove any area designated as Residential High Mixed Use and to designate the majority of the site as Residential Medium. An area proposed as 14.9 acres. The remaining 3.16 acres would become classified as Village Center. The intent of the future land use map designations would suggest that the property would develop with more of an emphasis on higher density residential with a smaller percentage remaining for commercial development. Staff has been unable to identify any subsequent event to the existing designation that would invalidate the current three designations, and therefore staff finds this criterion has not been met. For zoning, however, the property is currently zoned RE and was annexed into the city limits in 2006. The applicant is requesting a zoning change to R8 and C1. The existing zoning of RE is currently not in conformance with any of the current future land use map designations on the property. Any future development of the property would require a rezone to the appropriate zone district as allowed under the current future land use map categories as identified on the property. The original 2010 future land use map premise for the existing three designations was that the property would follow a more residential medium to residential high overall density designation, which would be R8 to R24 with a limited commercial portion. With the proposed request, the applicant is providing a mixture of both residential and commercial zonings, which are still in conformance with the comprehensive plan's vision for this area of the community, just not to the overall density as allowed under the residential high mixed use category at 16 to 24. If the comprehensive plan future land use map requested changes are approved, the request to rezone the majority of the subject property to R8 maintains the focus primarily on residential development, which is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The village center land use classification is assigned to a smaller portion of the property, also consistent with the future land use map, with a proposed zoning designation of C1. With the adoption of the 2010 comprehensive plan, as well as consideration of approval of the proposed amendments as included in this request, each action have invalidated the RE zoning or the RE zone designation, and therefore this criteria has been met. Regarding criteria number 2, the character and or condition of the area has changed. The condition of the surrounding area has changed within the area since the adoption of the 2010 comprehensive plan. This includes the area known as the Pro-Eddy annexation across the road at 78224 Road, which is presently zoned C1. In addition, the Taurus Park Plaza annexation at 78923 Road, zone PD, contemplates a mix of both residential and commercial land uses ranging in densities between 6 to 32 dwelling units to the acre. The city reviewed and approved the South 20 annexation at 2035 H Road, which was zoned R4 and R8 in 2019. And finally, the Maverick Estates annexation located at 2428 H Road, that was zoned in R1 in 2019. Also, Beehive Homes Assisted Living Facility located at 2395 H Road has recently expanded their facilities with the construction of a second building. These changes in existing conditions lend support for the request for the elimination of the residential high mixed use category and realignment of the village center and the residential medium designations, in that a medium dense residential designation could be seen as more compatible with the new conditions and associated zone district designations. The existing residential high mixed use at 16 to 24 land use category is not conducive to the area to have a density range this high, as the properties located on the west side of 24 Road remain single-family residential located on large lot acreage and are relatively rural in nature at this time. The recent annexations and zoning of properties from R1 to R8 in this area has provided evidence of the increasing demand for single-family detached and attached residential markets rather than high-density attached single-family or multifamily as prescribed by the residential high mixed-use category. The requested comprehensive plan amendment and rezonings are consistent with the current trend of annexation and developing properties in the Appleton neighborhood area, and is consistent with the growth envisioned by the comprehensive plan. Therefore, staff has found this criterion has been met. Criteria 3, public and community facilities are adequate to serve the type and scope of the land use proposed. Staff has found that adequate public and community facilities and services are available to the property and are sufficient to serve land uses associated with either the residential medium or the village center categories. Ute water and city sanitary sewer are presently available within 24 Road. Property is also currently being serviced by Xcel Energy, electric and natural gas. A short distance away to the south is Community Hospital located along G Road. Further to the south on 24 Road is the Mesa Mall area, which includes restaurants, retail and service centers, banks, and a grocery store. Appleton Elementary School is located less than a mile from the property on H Road. In general, staff has found public and community facilities are adequate to serve the type and scope of the residential medium and village center designations as proposed, and as such, staff finds this criterion has been met. Criteria 4, if there's an inadequate supply of suitably designated land available in the community. The property is currently comprised of 3 designations. The applicant proposes eliminating the residential high mixed-use designation and replacing it with mostly residential medium and a small portion of village center designations. Both the residential medium designation and the village center comprise large areas of largely undeveloped land in the proximate area, which would be 42 acres, adjacent to the applicant's property, and thus staff finds that this criterion has not been met. For zoning, the proposed R8 and C1 zone districts could allow for a mixture of both commercial and residential development. The applicant is proposing to change the current zoning of RE to allow the property to develop as a mixed-use development of both light commercial and residential zoning, thus meeting the intent of the 2010 Comprehensive Plan future land use map for this area of the community. Therefore, staff has not found that there is an inadequate supply of suitably designated commercial or R8 zone land available either in the community or in the immediate surrounding area, since nearby is already vacant C1 properties near I-70, and the R8 zone district comprises the largest amount of residential zone properties within the city. Finally, criteria 5, the community or area as defined by the presiding body will derive benefits from the proposed amendment. The property currently contains 3 future land use categories. With this request, the applicant is requesting future land use designations of residential medium, proposed as 14.9 acres, and village center proposed as 3.16 acres, with proposed zoning designations of R8 and C1 respectively. The community and area can benefit from the proposed comprehensive plan amendments, as the applicant is requesting future land use and zoning designations in keeping with the current designations already identified on the property, with the village center designation for only a small portion along the 24-road corridor, while keeping and modifying the residential medium category for the remaining portion of the property, which would allow the property to develop as a mixed-use development of both light commercial and residential, thus meeting the general intent and proposed uses of the 2010 Comprehensive Plan future land use map for the area. The proposed future land use map amendment would simplify the development of this property by eliminating one of the 3 future land use categories identified, while still providing development opportunities for both residential and commercial in keeping with the existing future land use map. The existing residential high mixed use land use category is not conducive to the area to have a density range this high, as the property is located on the west side of 24 Road remains single-family residential, located on large lot acreage and relatively rural in nature. The recent annexations and zoning of the properties from R1 to R8 in this area are evidence of the increasing demand for single-family detached and attached residential markets rather than multifamily as prescribed by the residential high mixed-use category. Therefore, staff finds the community or area will derive benefit from the proposed amendment. Findings of fact. After reviewing the Mallard View Comprehensive Plan Amendment and rezone requests for a Comprehensive Plan Amendment from residential high mixed use to residential medium and village center, and also a rezone from residential estate to R8 and C1 for the property located at 785 24 Road, the following findings of fact and conditions have been made. The requested comprehensive plan amendments and rezonings are consistent with the vision, intent, goals, and policies of our comprehensive plan, and the requests have met one or more of the applicable review criteria as found in sections 2102, 130, and 140 of our zoning and development code. Therefore, city staff recommends approval of the requested comprehensive plan amendment and rezone request. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching.